Hello, everybody. Back again to nerd out, to geek out some more. Today we're going to talk about a very exciting book. A very exciting book by the name of, can you say by the title of? By the name of Free the Darkness. Free the Darkness. Part 1, Book 1 of King's Dark Tidings by Kel Kades, who, number one, as an author, what an awesome name. I wish I was named Kel Kades. My name's Jason. Kel Kades. Jason. Okay, jealousy moving aside, envy pushing over. Free the Darkness. Oh my god, I love this book. Oh my god. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you should read Free the Darkness. 1. Holy guacamole, is the action in this book not phenomenal? And it's phenomenal, let's be fair, I'll be honest with everybody. If you do not like OP characters, overpowered characters, I would say you're probably not gonna enjoy this book, and especially not the series. But if you do have an appreciation of OP characters, you will love this. Because, well, to be fair again, he's not OP in the, like, god level kind of thing. But he's OP because he's just, oh my god, he's so perfect. So perfect. Handsome, chiseled, and of course, physically adept at kicking ass, regardless of what situation he's in. This guy, our main character, basically, is a young lad. He's only 19 at the time that the series is really kicking off, although you do get a little bit of seeing him when he's very young. So he is raised in seclusion to be, for all intents and purposes, God. Let's face it, he's trained to be God. He's trained to know everything, understand everything, manipulate everything, excel in all fields of combat, and he does have some magical abilities, although they're weird as shit, not fully explained in this book, so we'll ignore that part. But everything else, he's God level. So after having to, unfortunately, due to one of the most awesome scenes ever, leave his home of the last 19 years, our main character, Riskin, goes out into the world and tries to figure out what the fuck is happening out there and what he's supposed to do. And the premise, the general premise of book 1, of our main character having to go out and finally interact with normal people in this world, just so that he can find this one person, so that he can get some answers as to why he is the way he is, what happened to him, what happened in his past, and what he's supposed to do with his life. To find this one person, he dominates like a boss. Reskin basically goes out into the world and, in typical I'm way smarter and way physically stronger than all of you fashion, slowly starts to conquer the underworld, the above world, every world. And he does it, though, in a way that is hilarious as shit. And the reason why it's hilarious is, even though this man, this beast, has been raised to be perfect in many ways, he does not comprehend basic emotions in many senses because of the way he's been trained his entire life. He just doesn't grasp it. He can't comprehend it. I don't know if you see these little things floating across my screen, but it's kind of weird. But yes, he does not understand emotional states much. He does not understand conceptualization such as friendship and romance to a large degree. And so as he goes out into the world, people misunderstand him, would be an understatement. People, because he's so controlled, so strong, so noble seeming, people ascribe goodness to him when the reality is it's just him manipulating people, but not in an evil way. He's not a bad character. This is not meant to be like a sort of evil hiding as good. I would say our main character is more sort of a Deadpool. Not really. That would be a bad example. He's just someone who does what he does from a purely, utterly rational standpoint. Everything is about logic, everything is about efficiency, everything is about what should be done because it makes sense to do it that way. And of course, when you're talking about ethics, actually, this is a really fascinating concept, but ethics at its purest level is actually logic. There's a lot of people who like to argue from an emotional standpoint that the ethical things are so beautiful and we should just love and affection. But when you're really talking about interactions between people, human beings, ethics is about what makes sense for us as a group to function at maximum capacity. And usually the best thing for that is actually what we would consider good. It's being kind to people, respectful. It is helping each other out to maximize each other's growth. So it's all these little things that actually have nothing to do with being a good person and everything to do with just making sure that society is functioning at maximum capacity so that I, as an individual, can function at maximum capacity. And Reskin is like the ultimate aspect of that. It's really fascinating to watch them, and it can be really, really, really funny in a dry humor sort of way. The other characters in the book are definitely... Some are interesting, for sure. The characters who are sort of surrounding and following along with Reskin on his journey, who become his sort of main party, are not that interesting, at least in book 1. I know that they definitely get more interesting as the book series progress. I will talk more about that in later videos. But for now, we will say that there's not that much development of the other characters in book 1, and they are kind of foolish. We'll be generous. They are foolish and not too world savvy. But overall, the action, the pacing, the world itself, seeing what's happening is really, really, really well done. For a self-published novel, this is not available in paperback or anything like that. You can pretty much only get it in ebook format. I find this book to be really enjoyable. I blew through it in like 2 hours, 3 hours. I just devoured this book. It's not that large, so that's part of it, but it's just such a good paced book, a well-paced book, good paced book. It's a well-paced book, and action, interaction, world building, some foreshadowing, some lore. It's just all, it just stacks really, really well. And the brutality of this series is even more fascinating due to the fact that there's no real emotional stake like thrown into the fray with the main character, because Reskin is so emotionally detached from a lot of the brutal violence that he's inflicting upon people. Everything is done for a valid reason. He views people according to like they're used to him. They're used to the greater whole of the city or nation that they're in. If someone is a violent thug or a thief, he has no problem killing them, because as far as he's concerned, they're not useful to society as a whole anyway. And he tries not to kill people if it's not necessary. So you don't really ever feel like he's just some violent, crazy person, really. So it's portrayed in a way that's just, it's done very, very well. I would highly recommend checking out this book if you want to just have your mind blown by just an action-packed adventure, great combat scenes, interesting character development of the main character as you see him try to deal with stuff, but kind of be patient with the other characters. There's not that much going on, but the world itself is pretty interesting, what Reskin is getting involved in, and the foreshadowing for the next book in the series is really, really well done. I'd highly recommend it. I'd give this book an 8 on 10. I wouldn't give it a 9 or a 10 because it's still lacking in some stuff, but definitely as a whole, I love this book. From a purely OP, just joyride, running full tilt into the mayhem, like this is definitely an 8 on 10, and I would check it out. Let me know what you think down below. like, comment, subscribe, and of course, check out the website at geektales.ca. Thanks for listening.